Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Monday, the 26th of June, 2023. A interesting variety day because it was the return of Street Fighter 6 after having not played it all weekend long, and also the return of Zelda. So let's talk a little bit about that and the progress that I made. First of all, we had a little bit of a scare today because it was announced by the official Street Fighter Twitter account that the crossplay option of Street Fighter 6 was not working properly. And they actually went publicly and announced, we recommend you disable it. Now, for those who don't know, I'm playing Street Fighter 6 on the Xbox Series X. Well, this game is cross-platform from the Xbox to the PlayStation 5 to the PC, and it didn't sell well on Xbox. We had talked about this as a news story about a week or two ago on the podcast, that basically, because last console gen Street Fighter was not on Xbox at all, it was only on PS5 and PC, well, excuse me, PS4 and PC, that Sony gamers were heavily into Street Fighter, and everyone who was into Street Fighter bought a Sony console and followed suit for Street Fighter 5, or excuse me, Street Fighter 6, and so this game being cross-platform didn't sell very well on Xbox. I mean, that's not surprising. Most people who bought the Xbox are people who either are playing like Call of Duty or people who are into the Game Pass. This is not a Game Pass game. So it's not shocking to hear it undersold. Now, the reason I bought it on Xbox is because of this. Because I was gifted a joystick about a year and a half ago around Christmas time by a viewer. And they said, hey, we hope that you enjoy the Capcom Fighting Collection in 2022. Now, we all know how that went. That was a complete waste of time. But now, knowing that I have a nearly new joystick, I wanted to use it for Street Fighter 6, and I have been. And by the way, I feel like it's gone pretty well so far. So that's why I bought it on Xbox, saying, hey, it's cross-platform, so it doesn't matter what version I'm playing. I should still be able to enjoy the game and play the same players, right? But if they're telling you, oh, cross-platform's not working, disable it, that's awful. That means I would be limited to only play with people on Xbox, and the player base on Xbox is minuscule compared to everyone else. So I was worried. Come to find out, it didn't really affect me. I don't know why they said to do it, because by the time that I started playing, usually I start playing around 12:45 p.m. Pacific time, I found matches nonstop. So I don't know what they were talking about. And by the way, yeah, a lot of them were, or most of them were cross-platform. So I really don't know what the issue was, okay? Now, the first stream was Street Fighter 6, and I decided to play with Zangief, or Zangief, however you want to pronounce it. Man, I did way better than expected. So I played with Zangief at the very launch of the game, and I believe I'd done a second stream at one point with Zangief, or split up a stream until I think I had played 90 minutes with him at one point. So really I hadn't played that much with Zangief in this game so far. This was my first major dedicated 3-hour ranked stream with him. I did really good. I had watched some videos last night, and I saw a few different strategies and things that people were using, including some dash cancel strategies, and I implemented them in my game today. And just to give you some perspective, I didn't get any crazy win streaks, but I was winning most of the sets that I played. It would be like, I win the first match, they win the second match, close, and I win the third match. Great, move on. So I actually got promoted. I went from 2-star platinum to 3-star platinum, and actually was pushing towards 4-star platinum by the end of the stream. Did I have some difficulties? Yes, I did. JP still seems to be one of the hardest characters for Zangief to do anything about. It's a completely different game than fighting anyone else, because he can just keep chucking the projectiles at you, and it can be quite daunting to get to him. And I would also say, Ken is probably his worst enemy. Ken can literally do mid-range, free, safe, unpunishable block strings ad nauseum, and you can't really do anything about it. If you try to punish and whiff, he gets a giant combo. You're basically going to get pushed to the corner no matter what. You don't have fast enough moves to really interrupt what Ken is doing with those safe mid-screen hit strings. So I really don't know how Zangief's supposed to beat Ken, just being honest. Unless Ken makes a mistake, it doesn't seem like Zangief can do much. Outside of that, man, good variety. I did fight more Blankas today than ever, because Blanka had just won the first major Street Fighter 6 tournament. It was called CEO. It just took place over the weekend. So I fought 3 or 4 Blankas today, which like I had told you previous, no one was using Blanka. Now everyone's picking him up because he actually won this major. So that was neat to fight for more Blanka, more Blanka variety. But overall, I was very pleased. I thought I was going into it with the mentality that, oh man, Zangief's a grappler. He's tough to use. I'm probably not going to do well. I ended up doing really well. So I'm curious. I didn't count, but I know that people are counting my wins and losses, and I'd very much like to see, once it's tallied up, which may be overnight, I'm not sure, how I actually did, and talk to you on that on the podcast tomorrow about that. But I think I won way more than I lost, in which case I would say right now Zangief, Blanca, and Marisa are probably my top 3 characters in the game when it comes to performance and learning, so that's really cool. Then on the late stream, it was a continuation of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and as I told everyone, I wanted to get to Gerudo Valley today. So what did we do? Well, we did the final tier, Dragon Tier Memory, which unlocked, that was the completion of that quest line. Went up and caught Zelda again, because Zelda re-teleported back over to that area, and I landed on Zelda again and got some items off of her. I know you're like, what are you talking about? Well, that's part of the game. I know that sounds weird. And then we went to Point Lookout, or Lookout Landing, and I ended up doing some Korok inventory upgrades. And I think we did 1 or 2 other things, like a couple more shrines and got an upgrade. I think we went to the depths temporarily, too. There was nothing down there. And then finally we went to Gerudo Town, and it was a fun quest line where everything was enveloped in a sandstorm, and it was your job to meet up with the new ruler of the Gerudo, which was the teenage girl who now has the powers of lightning, and she can use them just like all the other legendary heroes. She uses them with you, and you have to fight a bunch of Gibdo mummies. They're invading, and you have to take those and fend them off. And then there's a big puzzle. We have to go through the desert and realign these lights. And then finally, by the end of the stream, 2 hours of great progress, we had unlocked the dungeon that we're now going to start next time around. The other cool thing is I got the full armor set for the desert. So now I have complete heat resistance, and I do increased damage while in the desert. So that's really cool, because during this dungeon, I think it's going to help. It's going to actually have to increase damage during the whole dungeon. So it was fun. I had a great time. Great progress. Chill vibes. The audience for Street Fighter was good, and the audience tonight for Zelda was good. It was overall a really great streaming day. Had a lot of fun. Support was decent. The only thing I will say is this, and if you're watching this, please don't take this the wrong way. We've lost a lot of members, and the reason is because last month we had people like Jinx, we had people like Brianna, we had people, I believe one of them was Burnt Zapato. There was like 3 or 4 people who last month gifted a significant amount of memberships to the channel. No exaggeration, it was like 300 memberships last month. We went from like 500 to like 800. And that was great. That helped me a ton. Trust me, that helped me a ton this month. Financially, things were really good this month. But what happened is they've all expired now. So we went from like 800, we're down to like 520 or something like that. And people are disheartened. I'm like, don't be disheartened. They were gifted. And right now, I'm continuing on with a bunch of RPGs. This is the problem. Playing a million RPGs. RPGs, when in their lengthy games, they don't retain support, nor do they retain viewership. They never have. This was my concern for this month when I told you guys last month. So let me get this straight. You want me to play Zelda and Diablo and Final Fantasy 16? I was like, I was very skeptical. Well, yeah, exactly what I thought would happen. Basically, we have like no membership support this month. It's dipped entirely, and there's no one really coming and gifting members or anything like that. That's okay. This is not a complaint. This is just, I'm telling you, it's not the end of the world. Would it be great if by the end of the month there was some rallying and maybe some people who, want to renew their memberships or give some memberships to the channel? Yeah, that would help, because today's the 26th, and basically I have 4 more days to stream, but not Thursday. So basically I have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, and whatever I do in the next 3 days, that's it for the month. I'm curious to see where we'll end this month, and it looks like it's definitely going to be less than last month because of all those gifted memberships going away. So, last chance for anyone who wants to support the channel this month. These next few days will be the last rally for June. Of course, in July, I'm going to continue on with everything. We got a couple special events in July, including the big DSP Digital Summer Party on Sunday coming up. We've got a big long-form React event about Machinima coming up. So we've got some special events coming up in July that may get people more excited and reinvigorated to support. But, great stuff today. Overall, I'm not disappointed. Tips were decent. Everything was fine. Just that the memberships have dwindled and are very slow. I think all day today we got like 2 members, It's fine. All right. But, just a suggestion. If someone was looking to help, that might be something you want to do in the next few days. Okay. That's it, guys. Have a good night. Tomorrow, it's going to be Final Fantasy 16, which I'm stoked for because we actually got to a part of the game that feels like Final Fantasy. Rather than being completely linear, there's some exploration, there's some fun combat. I'm excited for tomorrow's stream of Final Fantasy 16. And then tomorrow night, more Diablo 4, as it looks like we're approaching the middle to end of Act 3. We'll see how far we can get in Act 3 tomorrow. But good stuff. Good progress all along. If you're wondering, well, wait a minute, what about Street Fighter and Zelda? that's Wednesday. Wednesday is my final consecutive streaming day of the week. We'll have more Street Fighter multiplayer and more Zelda doing the Gerudo Lightning Dungeon that night. All right? Everyone, please have a good evening. Thank you so much for a great day. See you in the morning. Peace out.